Hi, good morning, everyone. All right. So we are looking into like how we can perform the mass import and export operation with the help of a data loaders, right? And yesterday we have seen like how we can insert and update. Now let me show you like how you can perform the upsert operation. Before that, what is an upsert? See, the upsert is a combination of insert as well as update. What does it mean? Upsert is a combination of insert and update. Now, what does it mean? Now, for example, if you are trying to, for example, in a same file, let me try to open that one of the file. See, this is one of the CSV file that we have created, particularly for update operation, right? This was one of the CSV file that I have created for the update operation. Now, what does it contain? It contains IDs and the fields that you wanted to have an updation, those fields. All right. So if you are performing an update operation, that time you would going to give the most important thing is ID. And then the field data, what you wanted to update. All right. Like I have given phone and the value, the new value of the industries. The most important thing over here is IDs. The most important thing over here is IDs. Now, see, we also have one more file for insert. I'll try to open and show it that as well. So we have one more file insert. We created one more file for insert operation. Now, what we have given, we have not given ID because in insert operation, you would not going to give it. Once after the data has been inserted, the ID is going to get generated. We cannot specify this, that for this particular record, this is going to be the ID. We cannot specify, we cannot say this to Salesforce. IDs are something that is being generated from the Salesforce itself. And it's an auto number field. We don't have any control over there. So during the insert operation, we don't give the value of ID. Rest for every other, we have to give it. Now I'm talking something about upsert. What exactly is an upsert? The upsert is a combination, as I've told you, the upsert is a combination of insert and update. So what I'm going to do would be like, I would be creating a third file. Let me show you that. Just by taking anyone into account, what I'm doing. Yeah, I would be creating a third file and I'll give the name as account upsert. All right, I'm going to give the name as account upsert. I would be opening that as well. Now see, this is my file, which is having IDs and the value of like phone and then finance, industry. So these are some of the values which I have taken from, let's say, update file. Let me close this one. And there is a file for insertion. I would be taking, first of all, I would be taking few things from here like active status and ownership. Let me take these two columns, active status and ownership. Okay. Now let me show you something. Let me show you something, and as well as the name. I'm also taking name. Okay. These are the columns that I have added into field. Let me save this. Now I'll do one thing. You have up to like 50, all right? Let me take it. Over here, I'm giving the name as 51. and then 52, 3, 4, and 5. Ownership, I'm making this as public. Active status is no for every one of them. And industry, I'm making as banking for all of them. Initially, it was finance. I'm making it to banking. All right. I'm making it to banking. Phone number, I would be removing for now. See. Now understand this file. Now understand this file. How the structure of this file is. See. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 IDs. There are 4 IDs. So what is going to be happen when you select upsert operation, when you select upsert, and it would evaluate this file. Wherever there is an ID, wherever there is an ID, it would going to perform update. I'll make it, for example, the active status is, let me just try to see for this particular record, what is the active status is yes. All right, I'll make it no. I'll make it no for every one of them. I'll make it no for every one of them. Right. The ownership, let me try to check that ownership as well. Ownership is public. I'll make it private. I'll make it private for all of them, for all those 4 records. What happened? Yeah. Now, so what is going to be happen when you select the operation as upsert? It would go and evaluate this file. Okay. After evaluation, it would see that this file contains some of the IDs. For few of the rows, there is an ID. And for rest of them, there is no ID. Wherever there is an ID, it would going to perform an update operation for the value what we have given for this respective fields. All right. Like for this particular ID, I have given the value as banking. All right. I'm not sure. 1 second. Let me check. It's finance. So it was finance. Now it is going to become banking. It was public. It's going to become private. It was inactive. It was going to become no. All right. Now, so it would perform and update operation, particularly for those data where there is an ID. And wherever there is a no ID, it would going to perform insert. So whenever there is a combination of insert plus update, this is what we call as upsert operation. This is what we call as upsert. All right. So let's try to implement that. But before that, I'll have to make a login. So for this, I'm going to require this password, which is a combination of password along with security token. So I'm going to perform an upsert operation. I wanted to go with password authentication. This one is my password. I'll make a login. Login successful. On which object? I wanted to do this an account. Do you have a file? Yes, I have a file called account upsert. And then next it is initialization. It's operation would contain 9 records. And there's no external ID. The matching is going to be done according to IDs. All right. So I go with auto match. So it has taken all the field names properly. And let me click onto this next button and finish it up. So what is going to be happen after this? 5 insertion and 4 updation. The result of this operation would be 5 new records are going to be get inserted and 4 old records. They are going to be 4 successful upserts and 5 errors. There are few of the errors which I'll have to see. I can go from here as well. Cannot execute flow trigger. Submit account record for the approval process failed. I'll do one thing. Let me disable that approval process. Let me disable the approval process. Deactivate. And there is one process builder, I think. That also I need to trigger. That also I need to disable. Submit account for the approval. See, this also I need to disable. So this is what, like, whenever you are performing any mass update, as I've told you yesterday as well, you would have to take care of all sort of automations, including process builder flows, workflows, approval process, and validation rules. These are some of the things, even triggers as well. These are some of the things which could hurt your overall operation with data loader. So you'll have to take care of all this. After this, I mean, if you would be disabling something, you'd have to re-enable all them. All right. So that is what we used to do. I'll try to show you something. I have a practical example for this as well. So what we usually do is, like, whenever we wanted to perform a mass update, we would first of all make a list of all the automations and then we disable them. And after disabling, once you perform that operation, we're going to re-enable all of them. All right, let me show you that. So I would be initiating this operation once again, although that this update operation has been performed, right? Let me try to once again make the changes. So because now, if I would show you data loader, all these are, like, their active status has been changed. So if I would try with any one of them, this has been performed, but let me try to show you something. Now see, the industry has been changed to banking, active status changed to no, and this has changed to private. I'll do one more thing. Let me take the industry value as education. I'll make it education for everybody. And I'll make it education for every one of them. I'll make it yes. And I'll make it public. All right. Now, see, let me try with this one. All right. So what I did, I have disabled all sort of automation before performing this mass update. So this is a good practice. So whenever you're performing certain update operations, certain insert, whatever it could be. In simple, when you are performing any operation with data loaders or data loader IO or Salesforce inspector, whatever, you should ideally do this. First of all, go and have a look onto all of the automation. I'll try to show you something, but let me first of all finish this operation. So I'm saving this file. And now once again, I'm repeating the same process. I wanted to perform upsert operation on account object. I have a file called upsert. See, these all are the errors and success files. All right. This is what is getting generated whenever you perform any insert upsert operation. So these are the files. So I have a file called as an upsert. So I'll go with that. It contains 9 records. Click on to next. Auto match. Okay. ID, industry, and ownership. It's perfect. And let me now finish it. Let's see. I can now see there are 8 success with 0 errors. So all of them, the 9 success without any error. You can now see there were 9 successful upsert and 0 errors. So what is now has been happened, all this data, right? There were the IDs. For this particular record, update operation has been done. And for the new, there were no ID. This insertion has been done. So let's verify that. So first of all, I will go with and I'll refresh this. And you can see this has become education. Active status has become to yes. And ownership has become to public. All right. So this was what? This was update. Now let's go back and let's see. Do we have insert? do we have insert? All right, so if I'll go with all accounts, I wanted to find 51 and 52. So data loader 51, somewhere around 51, 52, 53, 54, and 55. These are the recent insertions. All right, these 5 records, as you can see, they have been recently inserted. So this is what basically is an upsert operation. Now let me try to show you something, a similar kind of issue I have resolved. Well, I was about to perform a bulk operation. So what I did is, before performing that, I have created one file wherein I have mentioned all of this one. See, I was about to perform a similar kind of mass update. I think it was update or insert, I forgot. But anyways, it was somewhere around 90,000 records I was going to manipulate. So what I did is, like, first of all, I have created, I was doing this on opportunity, right? And opportunity and quote, they are interrelated to each other. So there were somewhere around 90,000 records of opportunity that either I was about to insert or I was about to update. I forgot that. But then what I did is, like, I first of all has make a list of all automations on opportunity. See what are these points. So I find out what are the flows on opportunity. These were all the flows. I have disabled them. All right. Or I have checked it out. Like, this was particularly for one of the business unit, and in this flow, the record type was mentioned. So this is not going to be affected in any case with my. Well, let's say it was an update operation. So whatever I was updating was not to for this particular business unit. So that's why I found keep it active. But these were three of the flows that are about to be get affected. I mean, after this update operation, they are going to be get triggered. So I decided to deactivate them. Similarly, I go with validation rules. All of the validation rules I have disabled. And triggers, I find it out. So triggers were not required. So I mentioned that there is no need to disable anyone. Process builder was there, and workflows were there. So see, this is what a list. Similarly, I did this investigation on code as well, but code particularly was not getting affected in any case. So I decided not to do anything with the code. But I just wanted you to show this, that whenever we in real time, whenever we do any such of kind of mass insertion or updation, whenever we used to first of all see this as something a prerequisite sort of thing, that as a part of this, you first of all would go to disable all of the automations, and then you come back after this operation has been performed. Whatever you have disabled, you have to make them active. In our case, what I disabled two things, right? I'm now going to update. I'm now going to make them enable. So I would go with, like, once again, in the workflows and approval, there was an approval process and there was a process builder. I'll make this activated. This was what I have disabled. And similarly, the process builder, submit account for the approval process. So I'm going to activate this as well. Right. So this is like how we in real time we work. You can see this file. You can see this file, right? So before performing any sort of mass operation, any sort of bulk operation, could be insert, update, or anything, I would first of all would check what are the automations on that particular object, and whichever requires to be get disabled, right? That to be, I'll tell you one more thing. This we usually perform after office hours. Now this was this, I mean, this I remember I did this for one of the business unit, EPG. The EPG belongs to Europe. So Europe is like somewhere around 4.5 hour trail to our time. So it would be something like, if in India, if it is, for example, 4 in the PM, 4 PM. So they would have somewhere around 11:30 in the morning. So their offices get closed. Their offices get closed somewhere around 7 p.m. So I calculated with 7:30. So what I did is, this type of operation. All right. So I'll have this one extension with me. So I'll usually compare this with European time, sometimes with the US times as well. So I take this like, when 7:30, when there would be 7:30. So example 7:30, if I wanted to do anything in 7:30, so it would be our time, it would be somewhere around 11 p.m. Right. You can see the 6:30 p.m. is almost equals to 11 p.m. 7:30 would be somewhere around like 12:30 in the night. So I usually did any sort of deployment or any sort of mass update. I usually do this in night. For Indian Standard Time, it's night, somewhere around like 11:30 in the night, or maybe 12 or maybe 12:30. So this is a usual practice we used to follow. After the offices has been shut, we used to perform deployments or any sort of mass operation is there, any sort of bulk operation, whether it's an insert update or whatever it is. We usually try to do this beyond the office hours, not within when everybody is working. All right. So maybe you are also going to follow the same practice when you're going to join the industry. Anyways, so that was the upsert operation. Now let me show you how we can delete. So delete is somewhat similar to what we did for update. I'll do one thing. I'll go with this one upsert file. All right. And whenever we are performing delete, we simply don't requires any another thing apart from the ID. So I'll do one thing. Let me open all of them. First of all, all right. So this is a record, and there will be few more records. Let me just try to show you that. These are some of the records which we are about to delete from this file. All right. So I'm going to use the same file, the upsert one. Let me show you. So delete, where from the account I wanted to delete. Which file? Upsert one. Right. You just have to give the IDs, nothing else. Let's have 4 records. Let me create that mapping. Select on auto match. It maps ID column with ID field. Click on to the next, and then it gives a little warning like this is going to be get deleted. It's going to be recite into recycle bin. If the recycle bin is filled, it's going to be perform hard delete, whatever, right? So there were 0 successful delete operations, and there might be automations. Once again, let me try to see what were the errors. I'll perform this operation once again. Let me try to see what were the errors. So I'll go with upsert. Okay. Next. Let me see what were the errors. 0 successful and 3 errors. 4 errors. All right. View the errors. So they are associated with following cases. You remember one thing I have told you. Account, opportunity, account contact, and account case. First of all, there is a standard lookup relationship. All right. And then there are few additional behavior which we have to study and which already have did that. Between account and contact, there is a cascade deletion. That although there is a lookup relationship everywhere, but if you remember what we have studied, between account and contact and opportunity, there is cascade deletion. If you would try to delete an account, the related contact along with related opportunity, they are going to be get deleted. Cascade deletion, although is not a functionality, not a feature of lookup, rather it's belongs to master detail. Whenever there is an MLD relationship, then that time and the cascade deletion is something what we observe. But this is something that Salesforce has decided, right? It's a rule that between account contact opportunity, you have cascade deletion. Moreover, between account and opportunity, you can even create roll-up summary. Now, this is the only lookup relationship. You remember I have taught you the same way. Now, between account and case, there's something like if the account is having related cases to them, then you would not be able to delete that delete that account, right? Because that account have related cases. That account is having related cases to them. So they cannot be get deleted. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'll first of all find out such a kind of account which doesn't have any cases associated to it. All right. Or let me do one thing. I'll do the reverse engineering because it would really little hard to find it like that. I'll do a reverse engineering. I would be firing a query, select ID from case. Let me show you. So select ID, comma, name, or account dot name, and from case where account ID equals to null. Isn't it there any case without account, all closed cases, all open cases? This is the reason. See, all of the cases they are having account. ठीक है, account level पे ही चलते हैं. So I'll try this with this account. Does it have any cases? No. So this account doesn't have any case. I'll copy this ID. All right. Let me try to find out few of the records. Although getting one is enough, but let's try to find out few of the records where there is no case. This one is also one of the account record, but doesn't have any case associated to it. I'll take this one as well. Let me try with maybe this one. Might have. What about this? This is also. All right, then let's try with this two only. All right, so we have a record of Akash and Sunil, right? So I have these two IDs. Let me save this first of all. Let me save this. Now I'll repeat the same process. So I would go to perform delete operation and I'll select account. All right. And then I'll browse it, go with that upsert file once again. Next. Okay. Create the mapping, auto match. Okay. Next. Finish. See, this is what the number of the records allowed in recycle bin is limited. I mean, what you're trying to delete is about to go to recycle bin. But if the recycle bin is that time, maybe the recycle bin is filled and there is no space for this particular record. So what is going to be happen in that case? It would not go to recycle bin, rather hard delete would perform. That means it's going to be get permanent delete, right? So that is what the message prompt you. So there were 2 successful and 0 errors. So these 2 records have now been deleted. So if I would go back and I'll try to refresh, you're going to find no records, record deleted, and this one as well, right? Now they are present inside recycle bin. All right, they are present inside recycle. If you wanted to perform hard delete, that they should even go, they should not go to recycle bin, rather they would permanently got deleted, then you'll have to try with hard delete. Now, what is the problem? I cannot perform this right now. So you need to have bulk API hard delete permission. See, if you wanted to perform a hard delete, the first thing you need to have bulk API hard delete permission. Now, what is this bulk API? All right. See, I am not going to perform it. Even we cannot perform this unless you will try this with some another user. Why? I'm showing you. Let me show you that. See, you are system administrator. Like if I would go with user, which login I'm using training batch 208. So I'll go with like training batch 208. Which profile I'm having? System administrator. Now, this system admin profile, tell me one thing. I'm giving you this command to unmute yourself. Now tell me one thing. This system admin profile, which we are having, all of us is having the same profile, by the way. Tell me one thing, whether this is a standard profile or a custom profile. Yes, come on. Quick. Standard profile. Understood? This one is a standard profile. All right. If I would try to edit this right now, there's a permission called bulk API hard delete. Let me show you that. Bulk API hard delete. See, this is this permission. If you wanted to perform a bulk, you want to perform a hard delete operation, you must have this permission enabled on your profile. So if I would try to perform this, right? If I would try to perform this, I would certainly require to have this permission. On my profile, this permission is not enabled. Bulk API hard delete. If I would even try to edit this, I have told you that the standard profile, they are customizable up to only a certain extent. And most of the important permissions which lies under administrative permission, like this one, or general user permission, this one, you cannot edit them. So basically, if you wanted to try on this, you cannot try this with system admin profile. You would have to, first of all, log in as another user. Now, I can do one thing. If you really wanted to practice on this, I can do one thing. We have some custom users which we have created, for example, development. This user is having this profile. I can go with like 208 standard user. I can edit and I can give him this permission, bulk API hard delete, right? I can give him this permission. See this, I can enable for him. And once enable, I can save it. Now I can make a login with his profile, right? The same way you did it for yours. You know what you have to do? What you would have to do? You would have to go to developer user, for data. And then when you wanted to perform hard delete, okay, now you make a login with your account. You will have to make a login with development user. But for that, again, if you wanted to make a login, you would certainly require one thing. What is that? What is that? Along with the password, you would require one more thing, and that is your security token. So how to get it? Simple, the way you get it for yourself. In the same way, you'll have to get it. All right, let me show you. 1 second, guys. All right, see, what you have to do, first of all, you will have to make a login. You'll have to make a login with this user. So I go with make a login with development user. All right. The same way. I wanted to get a security token. So I'll go with this, my settings, go to personal, and then reset my security token, go with this. Right now, one security token has been generated with this, and it has been transferred to this ID. I'll go to that ID as well. Chalo. I'll go with 208. Now here I'm going to receive that, right? Here I'm going to receive that ID, that security token. This is the security token. Now I have to make a login in the way like this. So this is my security token, isn't it? So whatever would be the password for this, जो भी इसका password रखा था हमने उस वक्त जब आपने भी बनाया होगा. I think this was the password. I don't remember. ये था password, है ना? So if this was the password, you'll have to append it from here. You'll have to append it from here like this. Okay. So use that login ID, जो भी उसका ID था, वो यहाँ पे लिखो और पासवर्ड में ये डालेंगे। ठीक है, उसके बाद लॉगिन करेंगे एंड देन यू आर गोइंग टू परफॉर्म हार्ड इट। लेट मी ट्राई विद दिस। तो what's the ID of him? Let me try to make a login with this. And this is the password. I'm committing certain mistake. अब ये पासवर्ड है या नहीं मेरे को याद नहीं आ रहा यार। मैंने इसका पासवर्ड क्या रखा था पता नहीं। 208@training। आई थिंक ये पासवर्ड है, ये नहीं है। आई थिंक ये पासवर्ड है। हाँ हाँ, close it out, close it out. Let's once again try to make a login. Hard delete password authentication development 208.training.com. Password. Login successful. Okay. So from which object you wanted to perform? I want to perform, let's say, an account. I must have a file for that, right? I'll try to have certain accounts where there is no cases related to that. So I'll go with all accounts and there are only 4 accounts. Acha, for development user it is. Oh. ठीक है ना, ये भी ठीक है. And I'll not go with this one. I'll try with this one. Does it have any case? It have. Let me do one thing. Let me remove the case from here. Development user record number 1. Let me close it first of all. Even though it's closed, you cannot delete it. No. All right, let's do one thing. Let's create a record. Delete test record number 1. Let's try to save it. All right, so this is one of the record that doesn't have any case. All right, this is a record that doesn't have any case. Let me go with this one only. I'll just so this is one of the record that doesn't have any case, account record. Moreover, the owner is development user. So this is also one thing you'll have to remember. See, if you are the owner of the record, then you can delete, otherwise not. All right, if this user is trying to delete somebody else's record, that time also the permission would not be enabled, right? That time also you're going to get the error. So this is what, like, or otherwise, if you'll have to be system admin. If you are a system admin, you can delete anyone's record. But if you are particularly a user, then you can only delete your own record. Otherwise not. All right. Unless sharing mechanism is enabled. So this is something you'll have to take care. So ये एक record है which doesn't have any cases and I'm about to delete this, hard delete rather. So I created this inside this file. Let me save it. I have a file called account upsert. I wanted to do this and let me select this file. Going with next. There's one record which is right. Let me match ID along with ID and OK. And then next. See, you're about to permanently delete the data. This can be undone. I mean, once you delete, you cannot recover it back. And all the records will not be available in recycle. I understand. Let me finish. This was not previously, right? Now, because you are performing in hard delete, it's showing you this message. So one successful hard delete without any errors. So now this record, if I would refresh, has been gone. And even if I would try to go with recycle bin, well, I'm not going to find that record over here. I would not going to find that record, right? That record, hard delete, record number 1. Do you find it over here? No. So this is what is in hard delete. But understand one thing, if you wanted to perform hard delete, you must have bulk API hard delete permission enabled. And this, we cannot enable it for ourselves. Why? Because we are having a system admin profile, which by the way is a standard profile. And this permission, bulk API hard delete, it's an administrative permission. We cannot make it enable. All right, understood. So now in interview, now listen this very carefully. In interview, if they would ask you about hard delete, did you ever had perform hard delete? What you have to say? Chalo, abhi I'll ask you this question. Let me see what you are going to answer. Yes, anyone. Let's consider I am your interviewer and I am asking you, did you ever had perform hard delete? Tell me what you are going to say me. Yes, any one of you?
No.
You know, re bhai.
Sir, if I delete, the recycle bin going to be get completely deleted to the system.
My question is, did you ever attempted hard delete? You are saying to me, no. Are you did it. Chalo, theek hai, chodo. Shadab, nahi. This is not the answer. Yes, anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, Prerna. I'm not getting if you're saying something. I cannot hear you probably. Yes, Prerna. I cannot hear you. Yes, anyone wanted to attempt this question? I'm asking you one question. Did you ever perform hard delete? What is your answer? Come on. Acha. All right, tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. अभी चलो, अभी जो मैंने पढ़ा है उसके हिसाब से. Did you perform hard delete or not? अभी जो हमने किया, क्या हमने hard delete attempt किया या नहीं? Come on, tell me.
Yes, sir, we did.
Yes.
Yes, all right. So in the step number 1, what you can say, yes, I did. I have performed hard delete. ठीक है. Now, I'll extend this. What was the profile we were having? Yes, what is the profile we were having?
System administrator.
System administrator. So now I'll make a twist into my answer. See, I was having system admin profile, which is a standard profile. So with this standard profile, because the bulk API hard delete permission was not enabled, I perform hard delete operation, but not with my user, but not with the system admin profile. I have attempted so many times I did hard delete. But then whenever I perform this operation, whenever I go for an hard delete operation, I have never performed this with my profile, system admin. Because my profile, the system admin profile is a standard one. And whenever you wanted to attempt this hard delete, you must have a permission called, one administrative permission called bulk API hard delete. And I cannot enable it on my profile because you know this. Whenever, if you wanted to customize a standard permission, a standard profile, We cannot edit any of the administrative or maybe any of the general user permission. So how I attempted? I was having one more user. I created this for mine. मतलब मैंने अपने खुद के लिए, जैसे आप बोलो ना, I have created one profile, one user for me called development user. And to this user, I have given Salesforce license. And I cloned this, I've cloned one of the standard user profile, and on that profile, I have enabled that permission. So how I have performed, अभी क्या बताया मैंने आपको, अभी जिस तरह से implement किया बिल्कुल वही आपको बताना है कि I was having one more user with me that I have created for myself, not for anybody. How did I create it? I cloned the standard user profile, created my own custom profile, and I have given him a Salesforce license. So this bulk API hard delete permission, I make it enable on his profile, on that custom profile. I make it enable. Then I make a login with that user. How to make a login? Simple. The username, password, along with security token. And then I did it. So this is a tricky part. Understand? This is a tricky part. If you ever wanted to go with hard delete, and if you are a system admin, you cannot do this. Directly, you cannot do this with your profile. ठीक है, तो इसके लिए क्या करना है फिर? कोई 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 सोल्यूशन है इसका? अभी जो हमने किया वही सोल्यूशन है इसका। तो अब एक ध्यान से मेरी एक बात सुनो। देखो, ऐसा तुमको कोई नहीं बताएगा। आई एम टेलिंग यू दिस। तुम दुनिया में किसी का भी वीडियो देखो, इस तरह से तुमको कोई नहीं बताएगा। अभी देयर आर सो मेनी सच ऑफ काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स, नॉट जस्ट हार्ड डिलीट। बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं, बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें विच आर बीइंग डिसेबल्ड ऑन द सिस्टम एडमिन प्रोफाइल। अभी हमको क्या लगता है कि बीइंग अ सिस्टम एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर अपन तो बाप है सबके, अपन तो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं। बट आई एम टेलिंग यू देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स विच आर एक्चुअली डिसेबल्ड। बहुत सारी चीजें ना इस पर डिसेबल्ड रहती हैं। ठीक है, क्वेरी ऑल फाइल्स, दिस अगर इफ यू आर वर्किंग विद पर्टिकुलरली विद files object या document object, this is a very important permission which is disabled. You cannot make it enabled on yourself, right? And there are so many other kinds of things which are actually disabled for system admin. There are so many other permissions which are actually disabled for system admin. Multi-factor authentication, this you are going to require for enabling something called as a single sign-up. This is something, you know, you would going to require it single sign-up में इसकी जरूरत पड़ती है आपको. I'll show you something. Single sign-up में आपको इसकी जरूरत पड़ती है. यहाँ पे ये दिख रहा है login with Azure. So this is something called a single sign-up. When I have to enable single sign-up, I would require multi-factor authentication. I cannot enable this on my profile. तो हमको क्या लगता है कि being a system administrator अपन तो सबसे राजा है. We can do everything. But see, there are most of the things which are disabled. तो पता है हम क्या करते हैं? This is from my experience. I'm telling you this. Nobody is going to tell you like in a way like this. I would whenever, for example, I joined NITAC, or if in any project, in United Way or in anywhere, I created one custom profile for myself. What I do is like, you know, I'll go with profiles in my day one itself, because I know somewhere down the time I'm going to require this. All right, I'm going to require this. So what I'm going to do, system administrator is in a standard profile, isn't it? System administrator is a standard profile. All right, I'll clone this. And I would create a custom profile for myself, my sysadmin. I'll create a custom profile for myself, my sysadmin. And this is something that I'm going to assign it to me wherever I would require to perform any such a kind of operation. अभी जैसे मान के चलो मुझको बल्क एपीआई हार्ड डिलीट करना है, तो एक तो वो तरीका जो मैंने आपको बता दिया कि आई हैव क्रिएटेड अ यूजर फॉर, दूसरा आई हैव क्रिएटेड अ प्रोफाइल फॉर मी, मैंने अपने खुद के लिए एक प्रोफाइल बना रखी है जिसको मैं किसी और को नहीं देता, ऑलराइट, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू गिव दिस। बट अगर मुझे बल्क एपीआई हार्ड डिलीट करना है तो मैं सिस्टम एडमिन प्रोफाइल से थोड़ी ना कर सकता हूँ। तो फिर मैंने क्या किया, बल्क एपीआई हार्ड डिलीट परमिशन इनेबल किया अपने ऊपर में एंड सेव इट। नाउ आई वांटेड टू डू दिस, मैं अपने यूजर पे जाता हूँ एंड आई कैन असाइन दिस प्रोफाइल टू माई सेल्फ। ठीक है, ये अभी यहाँ पे कैसा है कि यू आर सिस्टम एडमिन, यहाँ पे यू कैन नॉट चेंज इट, बट जब आप ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ज्वाइन करते हो तब आप एक यूजर रहते हो, तब आप एक यूजर रहते हो, तो दैट टाइम यू कैन चेंज इट। अभी तो ये कैसा है कि दिस कैन नॉट बी डन बिकॉज ये पूरा ऑर्ग जो है वो इसी के नाम से बना हुआ है। हाँ, बट लेट्स से कि आई वुड बी सिस्टम, मतलब मैं अगर किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम कर रहा हूँ, तो आई वुड बी गोइंग टू बी वन यूजर ओवर देयर, मैं एक यूजर हूं वहां पे। और अगर एट द टाइम ऑफ क्रिएशन इफ दे हैव गिवन मी अ स्टैंडर्ड प्रोफाइल जैसे कि सिस्टम एडमिन, तो आई क्रिएट माई ओन कस्टम प्रोफाइल, मैं अपने लिए खुद की एक प्रोफाइल बना के रखता हूँ। अब लेट्स से जैसे मैं डेवलपमेंट यूजर हूँ, ठीक है, अभी ये भूल जाओ थोड़ी देर के लिए। अभी मान के चलो कि इसको सिस्टम एडमिन की प्रोफाइल दी हुई थी, ऐसा मान के चलो कि ही वाज सिस्टम एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर, ये मैं हूँ, लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड दिस इज कासिम अली, and I was being given a system admin profile. This profile is a standard one. I wanted to perform bulk API hard delete. I cannot do this. मैं थोड़ी ना एडमिन के पास जाके रोना रोऊंगा, अरे यार तुमने जो मेरे को प्रोफाइल दी वो स्टैंडर्ड है यार, हाउ कुड आई परफॉर्म बल्क एपीआई हार्ड डिलीट। तो उससे बेटर मैं क्या करूंगा, आई वुड क्रिएट माई ओन कस्टम प्रोफाइल बाय क्लोनिंग दिस सिस्टम एडमिन। अब मुझे ये परफॉर्म करना है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल दिस वन, आई वुड असाइन दिस टू मी एंड आई सेव इट, माई सिस एडमिन प्रोफाइल, I'll give it to myself, I'll change it. And now definitely I could perform bulk this hard delete or anything else, whatever. So this is some of the workarounds you should know. ये वो चीजें हैं जो कोई नहीं बताता आपको, मैं बता रहा हूँ, क्योंकि ये किसी भी ट्रेनिंग का हिस्सा नहीं होती है। ये सारा प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस है, इतना इस तरह से आपको कोई नहीं बता सकता। ठीक है, तो ये कुछ चीजें हमेशा याद रखेंगे, विल नॉट गोइंग टू फॉरगेट ऑल दिस। ठीक है, चलो, आई एम एक्सटेंडिंग माई क्लास अ लिटिल बिट बिकॉज टुडे सैटरडे आई डोंट हैव एनी स्केड्यूल। Moreover, जो next batch है वो मैंने cancel कर रखी है। And let's finish this up right now because from the Monday I'm going to start with developments. So this is all what we can do with data loaders. Now the problem with somebody could be like if you don't have operating system like 10 or 11, you cannot install this. So how to perform the same operations? Now I am not going to exactly repeat the same operation. I will show you the workaround for this. So there is a cloud version for this as well. You can go with like dataloaders.io, dataloaders.io. Now, this is a cloud version of your data loader. So that would also ask you to go and make yourself login. So I'm going to make a login with Salesforce. I don't have a custom domain. I'll go with production because I told you that this is your development edition, right? Developer edition, that is a production environment. It's not a sandbox. Sandbox always starts with test.salesforce.com. All right. Sandbox always starts with test.salesforce.com. Like I have this 25 sandbox and few more sandbox, CMD, elevators. These all are the sandboxes. But I'm not making to make a login into that one. So when you are make a login into production or sandbox, you'll have to select the option. Particularly in your case, because you guys, every one of you are using developer edition. So you'll have to go with production only. All right. And then make a login. So it would ask you what is your credentials and all. I'm going to make a login into 208 account. Now it would ask you what you wanted to perform, import or export. If you want to export the files, export all, you will go with this option. Import will go with this options. Delete will go obviously with this options, right? Let's say I wanted to perform export operation. It's showing me some video. I don't want to watch the videos. Rather, I'll go with new task. I mean, these all are the operations. अच्छा, यहाँ videos भी हैं. So if you wanted to understand, you can definitely go with them कि कैसे use करते हैं. But rather, it would be like, go to this new task and then you decide what you wanted to perform. Import, export, delete. ठीक है? When you are trying to perform import operation, what you can do, insert, upsert, and update. ठीक है? We'll have to select the object. Say, for example, I wanted to perform the insert operation. ठीक है? I'll perform the insert operation. I selected. Now the same C, upload CSV, same, almost same, है ना? जैसा हमने अभी काम किया बिल्कुल वैसा. It would ask you to select that CSV file, right? C. This all are the data. जो मैपिंग थी इसने मैपिंग खुद से ले लिया, एक्चुअली इसने ले लिया. यहाँ पर एक एडवांटेज ये है कि ये पहले से मैपिंग ले लिया इसने. चलो, एंड देन नेक्स्ट. ठीक है, कहाँ परफॉर्म, वेयर यू आर परफॉर्मिंग दिस. ठीक है, अकाउंट ऑब्जेक्ट पे कर रहे हैं, क्या है इंपोर्ट, कितने नंबर ऑफ द रोज हैं, तो 50 रोज हैं, मतलब 50 डेटा है उस फाइल के अंदर. ठीक है, और व्हेन इट इज मोर देन 10,000. When it is more than 10,000, then you'll have to go with bulk API hard delete, bulk API. Otherwise, normally it would be batch Apex, batch API. ठीक है? So bulk API हम कब select करते हैं? When it is more than 10,000. ठीक है? And why 10,000? You're going to learn this in DML. अभी ऐसा नहीं है. अभी you can go with this one only, and then save and run. Save and run. I think I have not used this so much. Save and run maybe. डेटा डुप्लीकेट हो जाएगा. आई थिंक जो भी हमने डेटा किया है वो आई थिंक इट्स गोइंग टू बी लास्ट रन इन अ फ्यू सेकंड्स. डजंट इट गिव एनी मैसेज और इट्स परफॉर्मिंग सम ऑपरेशन. पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है. बट एनीवे दिस इज व्हाट द वे. तो इसको ट्राई करेंगे आप लोग. ठीक है, इसको ट्राई करेंगे. और दिस इज वट एवर यू डिड राइट नाउ विद डेटा लोडर्स with that on-premise tool, the same you can perform with dataloaders.io. ठीक है, that everything you can perform from here. मुझे नहीं पता ये इसने किया क्या इंसर्शन. लेट मी सी टू दैट. इसने इंसर्शन किया कि नहीं किया. डुप्लीकेट रिकॉर्ड्स होना चाहिए मेरे हिसाब से. डेटा लोडर 1 पता नहीं, इसने शायद नहीं किया है. आई डोंट सी दैट. डेट 133 नॉट श्योर इसने किया भी कि नहीं किया. हो सकता है डुप्लीकेट हो, शायद इसलिए ना किया हो, पता नहीं. बट यू ट्राई विद दिस. आप डेटा क्रिएट करो, एक्सेल शीट बनाओ, डेटा क्रिएट करो, एंड विद दैट we try to perform whatever we did. सारे import और सारे export operation. Just try to do this. Everything what I did, you try to replicate everything with dataloader.io. ठीक है, बट सबके लिए सेपरेट डेटा बनाना. मे बी मैं डेटा डुप्लीकेट किया हो सकता है इस वजह से, मुझे नहीं पता किस वजह से, बट शायद यही वजह हो सकती है. ठीक है, चलो, दैट वाज वन थिंग. तो डेटा लोडर एंड dataloader.io दोनों सेम है. बस डेटा लोडर इज एन ऑन प्रेमाइज टूल, IO इज अ क्लाउड टूल, नथिंग एल्स. ठीक है, एंड ये बेनिफिट है, लाइक इफ यू डोंट हैव विंडोज 10 ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम, तो you can, instead of, I mean, you can obviously cannot install that वो data loader. So what we should do in that case, so we can go with this dataloader.io. चलो, that was one thing. Now I'll show you that tool which now everybody is using practically. Whenever if you wanted to perform any operation like import or export, usually the developers in real time, they don't use data loader. What we are using right now is a tool called as Salesforce Inspector. Now for that, you would have to install this. You'll have to add it into Chrome. It's actually an extension to Chrome. So you would have to add it. How to add it? I hope you know this. If you would go like, Google Salesforce Inspector extension, you're going to find it, right? chrome.google.com. In the Chrome itself, you're going to find this extension, right? And then in your case, there would be a button called add it to Chrome, because I already installed it, already have added. तो यहाँ मेरे इसमें remove बता रहा है, but in your case, it would be add to Chrome. After that, maybe it would ask you to activate or something. And वो देख लेना आप लोगों ने. उसके बाद में, whenever you would open your Salesforce instance, तो इस तरह से देखो, मतलब ये तो this is what you know. ये आपका force.com क्विक एक्सेस मेन्यू, उसके ठीक ऊपर में एक छोटा सा ऐसा बटन आ जाता है. दैट इज फॉर द Salesforce Inspector. नाउ this could perform export and import, both of this. Export, when I make a click on export, so first, if you wanted to export, you have to first of all go with writing a query. और SQL अभी आप पढ़ने वाले हो डेवलपमेंट में, SQL लिखने के लिए भी सबसे बेस्ट जगह ये है. Why? I'll show you. For example, select से हमेशा SQL start होती है. You're going to learn this. Select from account. ठीक है, account. So यहाँ पे देखो नीचे में सारी हेल्प आ जाती. Now whatever you wanted to get from the account, यहाँ पे if you go with like accounts की पूरी fields आ जाती. ये देखो आप, all of the fields from account. I merely don't require to type anything over here. I can select like first of all, let me have ID. ठीक है, ID. ठीक है, then let's say name, and then let's say ownership, let's say active status, let's say industry. You just type a little bit, it's going to give it like fax, like phone. ठीक है, annual revenue, and let's say approval status, billing city. ठीक है, let me have this all. Once you are good with this, I mean the way whatever the field you wanted, once you are good with the query, just click on export button. So सबसे पहले it would show you this in the form of table. Now you could extract this either in the Excel form, in the CSV form, जैसा भी आपको चाहिए, JSON, JavaScript object notation. This you are going to learn in integration. क्या होता है JSON? तो जैसे I selected this in copy in the Excel format. Excel format में मैंने इसको copy कर लिया. And let me now open an Excel. देखिए एक Excel open करता हूँ मैं, blank Excel, and I just Control V. See हो गया, Control V. ये पूरा डेटा आपको यहाँ पर आ गया, राइट? पूरा डेटा आपको यहाँ पर आ गया. Do whatever the formatting you wanted to do. Do whatever the formatting, whatever you feel. ठीक है? This I don't want, I can remove. Ownership, industry facts, annual revenue billing. See, ये देखो. How simple is this? And you can now save it. How simple is this? तो ये ज्यादा हैंडी और बहुत ट्रेंडी टूल है. तो अभी कैसा है ना, वी एक्चुअली आर नॉट यूजिंग डेटा लोडर्स या आईओस वगैरह, वी आर नॉट यूजिंग, बिकॉज वी कैन डायरेक्टली गेट इट फ्रॉम हियर. ये था एक्सपोर्ट, दिस वाज एक्सपोर्ट. ठीक है. नाउ अभी फॉर एग्जांपल आई वांटेड टू परफॉर्म सम इंपोर्ट ऑपरेशन. ऑलराइट, आई वांट टू परफॉर्म सम इंपोर्ट. तो आई विल गो विद डेटा डॉट इंपोर्ट. आई विल गो विद डेटा डॉट इंपोर्ट. तो इंपोर्ट में फिर आप क्या परफॉर्म करना चाहते हो? इंसर्ट, अपडेट, अपसर्ट या डिलीट. ठीक है. लेट मी ट्राई टू शो यू समथिंग. तो क्या करता हूँ मैं, एक आध फाइल, एक आध डेटा, और आई कैन डू इट फ्रॉम हियर एज वेल. इतनी जरूरत नहीं है. यहाँ पे एक्सेल फाइल भी बनानी नहीं पड़ती है आपको, बहुत सिंपल है ये. लेट्स कंसिडर दैट आई वांटेड टू डिलीट सबके साथ में केसेस. मैंने कोई ऑटोमेशन बना रखा है क्या? केस रजिस्टर करने का कुछ ऑटोमेशन बना रखा है शायद मैंने. So why this is why every time whenever account is getting created, case भी create हो रहा है. कोई ना कोई ऑटोमेशन बना रखा है हमने. What is this new record? Edit, rejected. ठीक है. There is an account record. See, there is an account record like this, right? There is an account record like this. इसकी आईडी कॉपी करा आपने. ऑलराइट, यू हैव कॉपी द आईडी. अभी आपको टेक्निकली बताऊं क्या, मतलब वैसे तो एक्सेल शीट बनाते हैं हम, इस तरह से बनाते हैं, बट ये नहीं भी बनाया तो भी चलता है. कैसे? आई विल शो यू. For example, inside the account object, I wanted to delete something, right? I wanted to delete something. In which object? In the account object. What is the operation? Delete operation, right? Now get that data. So what I'm going to do would be like, नहीं Excel बनाना पड़ेगा. Sorry. ये आईडी है. आई जस्ट ऐड आईडी कॉलम ओवर हियर. ठीक है, मैंने आईडी ऐसा यहाँ पे लिख दिया और सिर्फ ये दो एंटिटी मैंने सिलेक्ट किया. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर देयर वेर बी 5 आईडीज तो मैं ऐसा सिलेक्ट करता था. इफ देयर वेर बी 10 आईडीज मैं ऐसा सिलेक्ट करता था. चलो जो भी है छोड़ो. आई जस्ट हैव सिलेक्टेड दिस. देखो मैंने इसको सेव भी नहीं करा है. आईडी कॉलम एंड दिस इज आईडी. आई कम बैक ओवर हियर, आई पेस्ट इट. तो इसने अपने आप मैपिंग ले लिया. ये बहुत ही रोबस्ट है, ये टूल बहुत ज्यादा रोबस्ट है. इसीलिए आप आज if you would ask to any developer right now what you are using for this import export and everything, they would going to say कि I use Salesforce Inspector for this. ये बहुत ज्यादा रोबस्ट है. ठीक है. इसने बैच साइज ले लिया, सब कुछ ले लिया, आईडी ले लिया. एंड नाउ जस्ट प्रेस दिस इंपोर्ट बटन. ठीक है, now press this import. 0 processed, 1 succeed, error. I mean this has been succeeded. ठीक है, हो गया. यहाँ पे लिख के आ गया कि दिस पर्टिकुलर रिकॉर्ड द एक्शन वाज डिलीटेड, द रिकॉर्ड हैज बीन डिलीटेड. यू गो बैक एंड ट्राई टू रिफ्रेश, सी डेटा इज गॉन. अब इसमें बेनिफिट कैसा है, यू एक्चुअली वुडंट रिक्वायर टू, जैसे अगर आप डेटा लोडर लेते हो तो फर्स्ट थिंग वुड बी लाइक यू नो यू हैव टू परफॉर्म द इंस्टॉलेशन. आपको इंस्टॉलेशन करना है उसको. फॉर द इंस्टॉलेशन, बिफोर द इंस्टॉलेशन यू मस्ट हैव जावा रन टाइम एनवायरनमेंट टू बी गेट इंस्टॉल्ड. सेकेंड वुड बी योर ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम शुड ऑल्सो सपोर्ट दिस, है ना. आपको ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम भी सपोर्ट करना चाहिए. If you are running with Windows 10, it's okay. But if you are having Windows 7 or something else, an XP, I mean the prior version to Windows 10, you're not going to use this. ठीक है, चलो ये drawback. Dataloader.io करते हो तो that time also it is something a lengthy process. Salesforce Inspector देखो कितना feasible है. You can directly perform it from here, right? तो ये this is what is the benefit. तो it can perform nearly all operations. You can have data export. इंपोर्ट में आपके पास सारे ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल हैं, यू कैन परफॉर्म इंसर्ट, अपसर्ट, डिलीट एंड एवरीथिंग. एंड दैट टू बी जस्ट डोंट रिक्वायर टू क्रिएट अ फाइल, ठीक है, आपको सेव नहीं करना पड़ता, यू जस्ट रिक्वायर टू हैव इट लाइक दिस। इवन विदाउट सेविंग आई जस्ट कॉपी एंड पेस्ट इट। मैंने यहाँ पे फाइल का नाम नहीं दिया था ना, आई जस्ट हैव पेस्टेड डेटा ओवर हियर, एंड देयर आर सो मेनी अदर थिंग्स एज वेल इट कैन डू। You don't know about metadata, you don't know about metadata, but in certain amount of time, in certain times, we also would require to see the metadata. So you're going to see what is the requirement, where exactly we wanted to see the metadata. Okay. So if, for example, I'll go with, let me try to show you. Abhi nahi, but आगे चल के इसका importance feel होगा आपको. If I would click on show on metadata, so do you observe something as soon as I put my cursor somewhere, right? So it is giving a kind of some informations, right? जैसे कि name क्या है? Name का internal data type क्या है? String. How many characters you could insert as a name? There are 255 characters. ठीक है? Where it is available both in the Lightning as well as in Classic. This is something called as ये what is this could be? I could say कि मैं fields का definition भी देख पा रहा हूँ. Auto number क्या है? It's a string data type. How many maximum, उसकी लेंथ कितनी हो सकती है? 40. ये कहाँ अवेलेबल? इट इज अवेलेबल इन बोथ लाइटनिंग एंड क्लासिक. सो दिस इज व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज मेटाडेटा. If I would go with show all data, if I would go with show all data, तो you can now see that account object में जितनी भी fields हैं, ठीक है, जितनी भी fields हैं, they have been highlighted. They have been highlighted. कि field क्या है? जैसे active status है, उसका लेबल क्या है, मतलब फील्ड एपीआई नेम क्या होता है और लेबल क्या होता है, गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड थोड़ा सा आगे बढ़ने के बाद में, ठीक है। तो दिस इज दैट एक्ट, ये इसका एपीआई नेम है, एपीआई इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज एप्लीकेशन प्रोग्राम इंटरफेस। इसका लेबल है, इसका टाइप क्या है? पिक लिस्ट, ठीक है। इसके अंदर वैल्यूज हैं तो ऑफ कोर्स यस, जिसमें वैल्यूज नहीं होती है वो ब्लैंक होता है, ठीक है। एंड देन यू हैव सो मेनी थिंग्स लाइक this is what basically is like, this is what basically is like. If I would go with like all field metadata, I can see it like this. तो basically ये programming में ज्यादा use होता है, but हाँ, there are so many facilities with Salesforce Inspector, ठीक है। If you wanted to see the information related to this org, how many licenses I am having, how many profiles I am having, ठीक है, you can go with this. You can go with this org limits. So it would generate a statistics like this. And if you wanted to download the metadata, you can even download that as well. ठीक है, तो आप metadata क्या है ये आप थोड़ा सा अभी नहीं समझ में आएगा, लेकिन जब आप प्रोग्रामिंग पे जाओगे तब आपको समझ जाएगा, ठीक है। तो Salesforce Inspector merely is a very good tool, ठीक है। और मैं एक चीज दिखाता हूँ आपको, लेट मी शो यू समथिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट।